Hey, everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio, and I'm going to tell you the truth about the NBA. And I love this game. We just witnessed Miami defeating the Boston Celtics 106-98. And this was the main game I wanted to focus on because I'm going to give you the landscape of the NBA. Boston was one of the top seeds. It's been replaced by Miami. But it was a good game. It really was a really good game. And Boston was kind of in control for three quarters. They had a 31-26 third quarter, but the Heat outscored the Celtics 27-15. And man, let me tell you something. It was the play of Max Strauss, who defended, who made two charges, a couple of good defensive plays on Jason Tatum. And Miami's zone defense in the fourth quarter kind of slowed the Celtics down because the Celtics were getting what they want with Daniel Theis, and Theis just played well. I mean, he had 15 points, season high, but he had no more points in the fourth quarter when Miami went to kind of a funky looking matchup zone, and they made sure that Pritchard wasn't going to get open threes, and they pinched in on Brown and Tatum's penetration. So we're not going to let you just get to the basket, and we're going to take away your best three-point shooter. We're going to dare the other guys to beat us, and they didn't. And they were missing shots, and Miami got Butler going in the mid-range. Butler didn't take crazy threes. He got his mid-range game going, and they were able to be smart with theirs because Butler had 24, Lowry had 23. Adebayo got his points. I'll tell you who was really the unsung hero was Dwayne Dedmon. He had 9 points, and he was able to get inside and get rebounds. And one thing about Miami, in this game, I noticed 0 second shots from Celtics. I know Memphis is the number one defensive rebounding team. No, Milwaukee's the number one. Either Milwaukee or Memphis are neck and neck, the two best defensive rebounding teams in the entire sport. And they were able to completely lock down, get 0 second chance points. They built a wall around the basket. So now if you're not popping shots from the outside, Miami was able to hold on and take care of business. And this seeding is going to be bonkers because you got Miami, and you got Boston, and you got Milwaukee. They're all in the mix. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the NBA. If you look right now, it's Miami 48-28, and Milwaukee 47-28. And Boston has 29 losses. Philadelphia has 29 losses. Chicago and Toronto are kind of in the mix. Those are your 6 teams. The bottom teams in the playing game is going to be pretty good. Cleveland, Atlanta. That's a rivalry, good playoff rivalry. LeBron James used to terrorize the Atlanta Hawks. I always felt like the Atlanta Hawks were scared of LeBron, but he's not there. But the nice Garland and those young pups are on Cleveland, and they got a nice young team. They really did a good job of rebuilding. They're playing Trae Young in Atlanta. And Trae Young is tops in scoring and assists because I looked at his stats. And then you have Brooklyn and Charlotte. I'm going to tell you something. Brooklyn's not coming out of the playing game unless Ben Simmons is going to play, especially against Charlotte. I'm going to tell you, I've been watching Charlotte. Like I watched them tonight against the Knicks. They're a very good, very, very good passing team. They share that ball. LaMelo bought 15 assists. I'm going to tell you something. They had 33. I'm looking now. They had 20, 30, I believe 34 assists tonight against the Knicks. 34 assists. 34 assists tonight. They share that basketball. I'll tell you, Bridges is really developing. He had 31 points. Miles Bridges gives Ball, that guy. Ball's just an outrageously good passer. He's got eyes. He's almost got four eyes the way he can see the court. Big, tall guy, hits big threes. Rozier helps with, and what I'm looking at is the development of PJ Washington. He's really developing. Oubre gives you the three-point shot. Harold toughness off the bench. The wild card is Cody Martin. If Kyrie and KD, because I'm pulling for them to get to the finals, man, it's a tough road, but you gotta have Ben Simmons. And yeah, he'll come in late, but the big part about having Ben Simmons is the perimeter defense. He's one of the best perimeter defensive players. He can see the floor. You can manage his minutes. He's seamless. He's not going to be a guy who wants to be the man. He just wants to get in to fit in, and he's perfect. He's the addition you got to have. It's not going to mess your chemistry up. I love Drummond and Curry. They're going to give you what you're going to give you. But I watched the Charlotte net game. They're one defender short against that Charlotte team. And Ben Simmons, he has to be healthy. Health is all about health. You know, I'm watching Golden State and Phoenix, no Curry. You look at Denver, no Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray and Curry are trying to come back. Kawhi Leonard is trying to come back. That's big. Health is LeBron's trying to come back, even though I don't know if they're going to make it. But let me look at the West. Let me break down the West. Everybody's saying, okay, Phoenix going to the finals. Phoenix going to win it all. Be careful with that. Let me see what Weissman and it comes in, Curry and Golden State with that championship DNA with Draymond Green and all those dudes and how they play. Let's see if what seeding they're going to be, because if they drop any lower, Dallas is coming. Luka is really balling, and they're really, really playing good around. The supporting cast is really giving Luka help, and they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. So if you say, for instance, they flip the script, and you had Golden State the 4 and Dallas the 3. You have Ja Morant versus Luka, but let's just say form holds. Let's just do this. Let me do the East. Let me look at the East right now. If the season ended and you had the playing game and the winner of Brooklyn, Charlotte end up running into Miami, that's a great series. Or you see Atlanta versus Miami or Milwaukee. Milwaukee and Atlanta and Brooklyn. Now, Milwaukee and Miami would have very difficult series. And I'm going to break down Milwaukee in a minute, but that would be difficult, but winnable. If Boston end up playing Toronto, that ridiculous idiot that runs Canada still got the vaccine mandate where Boston has, I believe Brown is not vaccinated, and they would play and have to go to Toronto on the road. They better win all their home games, because that could be a problem. That would, and kudos for New York to now that the cases are going down, he lifted it, and because road players were able to play and the home players weren't when they were not vaccinated. And I don't want to get into all that because I got my own opinions about it, but it's not going to be a factor. But Brooklyn, I'm going to tell you something. They better get Ben Simmons back. Miami and Milwaukee and Boston, and you could get Philadelphia and Chicago. And when the Lonzo Ball comes back to go along with what they got, that could be interesting. But I'm going to break Milwaukee-Philadelphia game down that was played the night before after I go into the Western Conference. Let's say chalk holds up and San Antonio makes the playing game. Minnesota beats San Antonio. The Clippers will wax New Orleans if Paul George and Kawhi are back. But even just say Kawhi's not back and George and big time Mr. May, Reggie Jackson, all those dudes, they will take care of business. And then what you would see is Phoenix and The Clippers. Look at these series in the West potentially. Phoenix and Clippers. Phoenix is the 1 seed playing an 8 seed, who's a dangerous 8 seed, especially if Kawhi would be back. But the Suns have been fantastic all year long because of the improvement of Bridges being that third wheel. They're terrific on defense. Crowder's going to defend. Booker is that perfect superstar that can get you to mid-range, that drives to the basket, gets to the foul line, shoots a high percentage of foul line, plays pretty good defense. Him and Paul work perfect together. Paul is the consummate half-court, terrific, get you mid-range, get everybody involved, get me involved when I'm supposed to. Superior, wise basketball player to go along with Ayton. With Ayton's, he's rare. He's a rare guy with a good post game, but he's athletic enough where he could stay with the high screen guards. So they just have a terrific setup. But they would have their hands full against the Clippers. And then you'd have Memphis versus Minnesota. And you'd have the Patrick Beverley running his mouth and John Morant. They would just be going at it for the 7-game series, but Memphis would beat them. I don't think Memphis is a little too tough. And look at what Memphis has lost. I think they're 15-2 without John Morant. Memphis is a handful, okay? They are a freaking handful. And they're beating the Spurs as we speak right now. But you look at that. Dylan Brooks, Bane, he doesn't miss from three. He's 3 of 3 from 3 tonight. And the number 1 shot blocker in the NBA is Jaren Jackson. Just want to let you know that. Steven Adams, the old big, strong veteran. Melton and Clark, and the old, slow, wise veteran in Kyle Anderson, who doesn't do nothing spectacular, but he just kind of fills in. And then a guy that I interviewed when he's in high school, Zaire Williams, who played at Stanford. He's from the LA area, played with LeBron, Bronny Jr.'s team. But when John Morant is engaged and he's going to come and play because he's not healthy right now, he'll be back. I like Memphis. You would have Golden State versus Utah, Dallas versus Denver. Woo! Look at those matchups. But we'll see, because I got this weird theory that Golden State matches up really good against Phoenix with Curry there. I need Curry healthy before I can make that proclamation, because they have Curry and Thompson to go along against Booker and Chris Paul, and they would be close to cancel each other out on that. But Memphis, I don't think they match up as good with Phoenix. But Memphis matches up with Golden State because Memphis brings such a physical presence, and the way they defend Golden State physically, that kind of gets under Golden State's skin. But I don't think Memphis could get under Phoenix's skin. And let's not forget the Denver factor with Jamal Murray would come back with Jokic. We don't want to forget that. And then Porter coming back. They're 6 seed, but there's 5 seed. They're one of the more dangerous 5 seeds. So there you have it. The East and the Western Conference in the NBA. If San Antonio loses, they lose that spot back to LA. This is the deal with LA and San Antonio. Both teams are kind of bleh. I got to see the health of LeBron, and I got to see which both teams have tough schedules. Who wins the game they're not supposed to win? If San Antonio could pull out the game tonight against Memphis, or they have to beat Golden State, they have a couple tough games. If they pull off an upset here and there, they'll get in. Or if LA could wake up out of this malaise they're in, and LeBron gets healthy, and they end up upsetting Denver Sunday on ABC. They usually play when the games are like hyped up games or they're home, like they did against Golden State. They'll probably win that game. But coming down to the last couple of games is going to come down probably the last game of the season. I think it's going to be like that. It's going to be neck and neck with San Antonio and LA. All right, I want to talk about the night before the Sixers and the Bucks played in a really interesting and telling game. The Bucks ended up winning the game. 118, 116. And if you break this game down, the Sixers were leading, the Bucks ended up. The Sixers were on fire in the second quarter, and they ended up leading by 10. And then the Bucks just chipped away. And then the fourth quarter, they outscored the Sixers 37-27. Down the stretch told me everything I needed to know about both teams. Because, yeah, Harden had 32, but down the stretch, he didn't play as good. And there was one time he just had a point-blank easy shot he missed. I started to hear a smatter of boos from the Sixer fans, and I listened to Philadelphia radio today. And the host was like, hey, leave him alone. He had 32 points. He's just fine. They just preaching that he's just fine. But the Sixer fans, no. They're like, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. This is the last stretch of this fourth quarter. We need you to deliver the goods and defeat the Bucks. And it didn't happen. Giannis happened. Giannis took care of business. And they were able to. And Holiday hit a big three-point shot to put them up 4. And he had alley-oop. It was a ridiculously good alley-oop dunk by Giannis to give him a 4-point lead. He came from the heavens. Niang hits a 3, and then Embiid hits a 3-point shot. And then it's a 1-point game, 13. Giannis makes the free throw. And now, this is a James Harden potential. Okay, I'm going to hit a game-winning 3. I'm going to have these Philly fans. I'm going to let Philadelphia and the NBA know I'm clutch. Okay, this is the reason they traded for me for Ben Simmons. This is the reason. He barely looked like he wanted anything to do with the shot he took. He missed a 3-point shot. Embiid gets the rebound, and you see the highs. Freak made a freakishly great block, and they end up winning. All right, let's break this down here. The Bucks are a type of team, and I thought maybe losing PJ Tucker would really hurt them in the end. I think getting Brook Lopez back really helped because he guarded Embiid. He helps on the boards, and he could stretch the court because he could shoot the threes. And I love this triumphant combination of Middleton, who gives you the mid-range. Middleton gives you the perimeter points, and Holiday, which gives you just everything. Perimeter points, point guard play. I mean, look at this. 18 points, plus 11, 8 rebounds like a power forward, and 10 assists and a steal. Just to throw that in. He only had 1 turnover. Played 40 minutes. And he's big. He guards everybody tough. He guarded Chris Paul tough. He guards every guard tough, not afraid of no one. And they're just tough guys. Wesley Matthews, Greek, Middleton, Holiday, Lopez, Allen, Portis, Connaughton, George Hill, Ibaka. I like what Stan Van Gundy said when he was talking about the Heat and the Celtics. He said usually the toughest teams that are sound and tough are the teams that win the playoffs. And the Bucks are sound. They're sound defensively. They're sound offensively. And Giannis, ever since game 4, after they did the comeback against Phoenix, they tied it up, and then they took away game 5 in Phoenix. Game 6, he goes 17 of 18. Couldn't make any free throws. Goes 17-18 from the free throw line. Just played out of his mind from game 3 to 6. It transformed him into a great money player now. Now he's a champion. And champions are different. Champions know when to go get you offensively. Champions know when to make that great pass. Champions know how to navigate through tough situations on the road, the situations at home to get you home with a win and to get you to the finals. And I'm really bullish. I've changed my tune with Milwaukee. I think they're definitely the favorites. I'm not sure if they're going to get there, but I would say they're the favorites. If Ben Simmons comes back and the Nets get out of that first round, the Nets can get to the finals with Ben Simmons engaged and playing. But if he doesn't, they're not going to. They're not going to beat Charlotte. I can't pick them against Charlotte. But the Bucks, I really like. Bucks are going to play the Nets coming up. I'm very curious to see that game. That's going to tell me a lot about the Bucks. But now back to the Sixers. I never trust Harden. You traded Curry. Now Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons comes and helps the Nets with assist and great defense, and Curry is a great three-point shooter in the playoffs. He's a tough-minded kid. And Drummond was a great back. It was a great backup for Embiid. He is really playing good for the Nets, giving them that big rebounding guy that can get you offensive rebounds. You're giving Kyrie Irving and Curry and KD second shots, especially with the playoffs. That's going to be big, extra possessions. But, man, was it worth it? You traded all in draft picks? You wanted James Harden that bad? Man, you really, and James Harden wanted to go to the Sixers more than life itself. Daryl Morey wanted James Harden. So I don't care if I got to trade everybody on this team just to get this man. The problem is he's a great scorer. He'll get steals, he'll rebound a little bit. He's too casual under pressure. He's always been that way. It doesn't look like he's going to change. Now he's going to get older. And the Philly fans are murmuring. I was hearing a little murmur like, oh, man, come on. And if he's small under pressure, they're going to let him have it. And how many times do you demand more trades? If they flame out in the first round, the Philly fans are going to roast him. They're going to roast Morey. They're going to roast Doc Rivers, and Embiid's going to start to get sick and tired of this. Now, they are definitely capable, if he shows up, of making a run in the playoffs, of course. But if they flame out, and it just seems like they're not that great in the fourth quarter, they've been like that for years. If they flame out in the first round, and all those guys who are really good, like Curry in the Atlanta series is really good. He was just really hitting those big shots. Even on Portland or Dallas, I noticed he's good at hitting open threes in the playoffs, and you threw that away because you want to Harden this bad. Harden better have an all-time clutch. He better come out of his skin and play clutch basketball when the playoffs.